It's time for Show Off Sunday, where everyone has a chance to show off their own car, and here's this week's winner.
This is an AMG 63 S-Class 2014, the first production year of this current generation. And it sounds cool and stuff, but I'm a nobody, so I won't be driving this around. I mean, we're at the dealer auction here. But there's a few interior things that I want to show you, because when we really get into it, it gets really special. And if you've got OCD, typically I'd say tune away, but because this is an S-Class, you're going to be very satisfied. Now, the S-Class can satisfy your OCD because the fit and finish in a car like this is just impeccable. As good as it gets, really. When we look at the materials and how it all comes together, the detail, it's just beautiful. This time around, Mercedes took some inspiration from the English with the piping. You'll see these tab switches, they're just perfect. Perfectly flush. My goodness, I just hope that the camera is steady enough. We are really close, ladies and gentlemen. Some might say too close. I want you to notice something with the design decision. Notice how the buttons' functions are not carved onto the buttons themselves, but rather they're presented to you in a black glossy field above the actual button itself. I wouldn't say they're merely presented, they're displayed like in a gallery. I mean, in most vehicles, an analog clock is a pure afterthought. Do you get that impression here? This is actually perfection, ladies and gentlemen. You can control the majority of this car from here. This really is like a throne for your palm. Everything is at your fingertips. Volume with your pinky. And here, you know what? You can delegate. Of course, to get to the detailed buttons. Da-da-da-da. And back. The buttons here worked very well into the steering wheel design. Coming around here, everything actually is tucked in perfectly. Properly straight, no gaps, no imperfections. Look at that. Orgasmic, you're correct. Now, OCD people, mind you, nothing is perfect. The veneer doesn't quite meet the panel perfectly, and look, even worse, the accompanying aluminum strip does not end quite where the veneer does. This to the perfectionist, it's a little unsettling, but I guess if these kind of things bother you, you're crazy. And look at the proportions. It's a little bit bulbous, a little outrageous. I like it. Well, unfortunately, this vent's cracked in. This is pretty flimsy. That design with the toggle tab switches, it continues. Enough of the details. Take in the big picture. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You know what? Top stitching just gets me. There's a timeless elegance about it. What can I say? Obviously, the armrest, very legit. The veneer, they made it into two pieces. I mean, are we expecting this to be one piece? I mean, as a non-customer, am I expecting too much? You know, maybe I do want this to be one piece. Minus a point here, guys. I can't let this one go. The seat belts that have airbags in them, yeah, they're thick. You can feel that there's stuff inside. The stitching is elaborate. I can confirm. Oh, it's called belt bag. Oh, the back of the headrest. Look at this. This is top stitched leather covered. +1 right there. Oh. Look at that. Is that $1? No. That's $1. Well, let's see if there's any luxury details we can go crazy about in the trunk. Of course, the opening mechanism well covered. You don't see any hinges or joints, none of that stuff. It really just looks like someone simply took some scissors and went cutting along here and matched it in. And you got like a finished product that looks like this. Really on the flimsy side. Nothing to brag about, but I mean, this is everybody. The roof of the trunk, does it have paneling? What pressing questions, I ask. And yes. You see, on this Bentley, first of all, we get this very thick, like, fabric, you know. But the way it's done, it's nice. It's not just cut liner, it's very nicely tucked in. But look at this trade-off. Look at this exposed mechanism. On the S-Class, it was all covered up. The trunk is massive. Okay, since we're here, we may as well have a look. Here we have a 2010 Flying Spur. I'll tell you this much, they don't age as well. The veneer is cracking. Everything is just leather wrapped in the places where nobody cares, nobody looks. You know what? I'll take the leather ceiling over the Alcantara. Look at this corner. The design language and execution from the Mercedes, day and night difference, of course. Necessarily better? I mean, look at this leather handle. Very decadent. This is one interestingly shaped piece here that they have. Anything else I can nitpick about? Just slick. So anyway, folks, I think that's enough details. For those of you who are crazy about this stuff, you're welcome. For those of you who think I'm crazy for caring about this stuff, well, maybe you're right.
Danke schön, darling, danke schön. Thank you for all the joy and pain.
Well, that was this week's video, and remember, to have your car video highlighted here on my channel, check this out! So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell!